Christians, hear me out. It is so important that you are spending daily time with God. My mama, my faith hero, has asked me my whole life and told me my whole life, son, are you having your quiet times? Sometimes I don't want to hear it. I get defensive, like, Ma, I don't have time to do that. All right? Leave me alone. She's like, son, you need to keep it before the Lord. I'll ask her for her advice on something or her what she thinks. She's like, are you having your quiet times? And I'm like, I know she's going to ask. Because my mom realizes how important it is for me to invest in my personal relationship with God. You know, you have to take care of that. You have to nurture that thing. You have to, and it's like that with any relationship. If you don't talk to somebody for 6 months, you're not as close, right? But if you're talking to someone daily, man, you're going to stay close to them. Now, I'm not saying they won't frustrate you, right? Many times it's people that we're the closest to that frustrate us the most. That's just the nature of proximity. The closer you are to someone, the higher probability that they're going to hurt you because they're within arm's length. And so many times, but this is the great part about it. This is where you wrestle with God. This is where you grapple with God. And so, yes, when you start pursuing God and seeking God, you start reading the Bible. I'm a big proponent in 1 chapter a day. Read 1 chapter of the Bible a day and pray. Talk to God about what you read, and then talk to Him about anything else you want to talk to Him about, and then go about your day. It's not a 5-hour thing a day. It's not even an hour a day. It's not even 30 minutes a day. It's like you just spend some time, spend some minutes, set aside. I'm going to read my Bible. I'm going to pray, and I'm going to go about my day. But it's my personal time with God, and that is so important. A lot of Christians, they ride the coattail of other people's faith. You want to go to church, and a lot of times that becomes a habit. It becomes just out of duty, like I'm going for my wife, or I'm going for my kids, or I don't even want to be here, but I'm just going to go because it's the right thing to do. But it ain't about necessarily your personal relationship with God. Man, when you get alone and you are intentional about that, I'm going to get alone for a few minutes and I'm just going to spend time with God. Now that right there is legit. You're not doing that for show. You're not doing that for dough. You're doing that because you want to get closer to God. And so, isn't it how we get close to anyone? They say if you want to get close to your spouse or really find out about them, take a road trip, just you and them. Because when you spend intimate, let me not say intimate, sometimes that's a weird word. Let me say this, when you spend one-on-one quality time, okay? Quality time with someone, that's when you get to grow in that relationship. You really get to know the other person. I've spent time with people in public settings, and I'm like, I really don't like them. Like, I think you know why? Because I don't know them. But then when I spend some time with them, when it's just us, or outside of work or something like that, I'm like, dude, they're actually awesome. And many times that's what happens with God. We go into this, we have these preconceived ideas about God. He's this, he's that, he's not even there. He's an angry God. He's mean. He allows pain and suffering. We get all these preconceived ideas, and we never even give him the chance, or give ourselves the chance to get to know him. And so what happens is, for me at least, I'll say me so that you guys can judge me. Many times I'm grappling with God. I'm wrestling with God, and I'm spending time with the Lord. But then there's things I got to get off my chest, man. I'm like, hey, and as I begin to vent my anger and frustrations and my doubts and my questions in prayer, he can begin to lead me to scriptures, and he can lead me to places where people can talk to me about these things that I'm dealing with. And then I begin to find out, like, okay, I feel better. We talked about it. But never having the conversation usually doesn't lead to you getting freedom or a sense of peace for that situation. So, like I said, I'm a big proponent of this. I think arguably the most important part of a Christian's faith is their intentional, quiet, personal times that they set aside to get to know God, and to invest in their faith, and to invest in the time to know God, to truly know him. Because as you begin to really know him for who his word reveals that he actually is, not what the world says or culture says, you begin to find that, man, like, I love him. There's a verse in a letter that Peter wrote in the Bible, and he says, although you have not seen him, you love him, and you're filled with this joy. And that many times experienced. Now, I'm not going to say that throughout that journey you don't hit pockets of pain and suffering and frustration and anger. And there again, this is your time to grapple with God, to wrestle with God. And there's also a story of a man in the Old Testament. He sent his family across the river, and then he stayed back and he wrestled with God. It's a cool story. It's very important to wrestle with God and express doubts and frustrations, but we can get into that in another video. But if you ain't close enough to touch him, you ain't close enough to, it's hard to grapple with somebody you can't reach. And so get close, get going, and just spend a little time every day with the Lord. 1 chapter a day is that's my opinion. Because if you do more than that, you're going to burn out, you're going to quit, it's going to be, and then you're going to start saying, I don't have time. All right, peace.